Chapter 3. As the flag-bearer of the Bailiang army, Xiaofan Commandant Qi Dangua was in a bit of a dilemma. Although he was one of the 6 adopted sons of the pillar state Su Xiao and was the wolf dog of the 1 tiger, 2 bears, and 3 dogs, his relationship with His Royal Highness could not be considered harmonious. To be honest, Qi Dangua, who came from a poor military background, did not like His Royal Highness's dissolute conduct in the provinces and counties. However, loyalty and righteousness were paramount. Since Su Fengnian was his adoptive father's eldest son, even if Qi Dangua had to personally kidnap his daughter, this Xiaofan commandant would not frown. Now, how to send Su Fengnian back to the prince's mansion was a problem. He couldn't just casually throw His Royal Highness on the back of a horse, could he? Fortunately, a horse galloped over and solved Qi Dangua's dilemma. The horse was as black as ink and abnormally tall and strong. It was once the king of wild horses. After being tamed, it was handed over to the young prince, Su Longxiang. When they met, the king of wild horses was difficult to tame. It raised its big hooves and wanted to trample on its new master. In the end, it kicked an iron plate and was knocked to the ground by the youth. After that, it was well-behaved and docile like a pretty girl from a humble family. Hearing the news, the young prince, Su Longxiang, urged the horse to stop and jump down. He affectionately called out, "Brother," a few times. Seeing that there was no movement, he naively thought that his brother had died. He wailed loudly, heartbroken. Qi Dangua kindly wanted to go up and explain that His Royal Highness was just too tired. In the end, he was pushed away by the young prince. He staggered a few times and almost fell. Qi Dangua was a fierce general of the Bailiang army, who carried the flag for the pillar state. It was enough to show that the youth's strength was extraordinary. The old servant called Old Huang by Su Fengnian trotted a few steps and whispered a few words in a heavy Shishu accent. Only then did Su Longxiang smile through his tears. He heavily slapped the old servant's shoulder and directly slapped the old man's butt into the dust. The young prince did not know how to control his strength, but when it came to his older brother, Su Fengnian, he was very careful. He crouched on the ground and carried his sleeping older brother on his back as he slowly walked towards the city gate. The mount, nicknamed Black Tooth, was like it was in spring. It trotted with small quick steps and turned its head to the side, trying to rub against the red horse that was being led by the old servant. However, the red horse that was all skin and bones and had a lame leg did not appreciate it. It opened its mouth and bit, scaring Black Tooth into quickly running away. However, it was unwilling to run far away, appearing reluctant to part. At first, the people in Lingzhou City were not sure who it was that could make the young prince, Su Longxiang, carry him into the city. Furthermore, there were 200 wolf-like personal guards following behind him. Later on, someone cried out, "His Royal Highness." This was great. Lingzhou City's main road that could drive 3 horse carriages side by side was immediately thrown into chaos. Especially those young ladies who were dressed up beautifully. They did not care about their elegance as they screamed and ran away while holding their skirts. Some of the large shops that were displaying treasures to attract customers immediately hid their things. The news of His Royal Highness is back spread like wildfire. It spread through the entire Lingzhou City at a shocking speed like thunder. The 20 or so brothels in the city all became spirited. The old pimps and pimps all cried tears of joy. Some of the enchanting courtesans all held their hearts as they sat by the windows and stared at the autumn water. "My enemy, you're finally willing to come back. Do you want to kill this servant?" A person followed the 200 Liangzhou iron cavalry into the city from afar. She had a slender figure and was dressed in a white robe. Her eyebrows were like a painting and her phoenix eyes were like peach blossoms. She was narrow and charming, her skin was as white as jade, and she had a standard oval face. She was extraordinarily handsome and did not seem like she was from the secular world. If it was not for the 2 blades on the left side of her waist, her unknown background, and her arrogant expression, as well as the terrifying news of His Royal Highness returning to the city, some of the ruffians and hedonistic young masters on the streets would have already taken liberties with her. This woman was too beautiful. She was even prettier than all of the courtesans in the city added together. Some of the beautiful women and young ladies from rich families who were running in panic saw her. At first, they were jealous, then they were in admiration and shyness. They thought that if this girl was a young master, they would even be willing to elope. The white-robed beauty with the blade on her waist was slightly surprised. She hesitated for a moment before choosing an old fortune-teller and asked, "Old mister, Which family's young master is the one who was protected by the Bailiang cavalry into the city? The old man who was lamenting that he would not be able to do business in the future was shocked by the beauty of the girl in front of him. After all, he had been here for many years. It was not easy for him to calm down. He forced a smile and said, "Miss, you are not from here, right? There is only one His Royal Highness here. He is the eldest son of the King of Bailiang. Ordinary sons of rich and powerful families would not dare to call themselves young masters. They would be beaten black and blue by His Royal Highness if they did not like him." Hearing the old man call her Miss, the woman frowned subconsciously, but she did not refute. She looked at the slowly moving cavalry in front of her and narrowed her peach blossom eyes. There was a faint murderous intent in them. She muttered to herself, "I didn't expect him to be a young master." Su Huanghua, is this what you always say when you say that 9 lies and 1 truth are easy to swindle? The king of Bailiang, Su Xiao, is known as the butcher who destroyed hundreds of cities and killed 300,000 people. How could he have such a disappointing son? Bailiang Palace. The crown prince's courtyard was even more luxurious than Prince Su Xiao's. Just the decoration on the large red sandalwood table by the window could be seen. Other than the 4-foot-tall dark green bronze cauldron, there was also a large green dragon painting that was waiting to be leaked. There were also several rosewood marble tables with the 4 treasures of the study and wine cups. There were also piles of famous people's books. There were more than 10 square meters of ink stones, all of which were priceless. The pens in the sea of brushes were as dense as a forest. In the corner of the tables, there was a huge flower sachet filled with crystal balls and white chrysanthemums. There was also a pair of golden unicorns and auspicious beasts. Inside the prince's mansion, there were several earth dragons that consumed countless charcoal. Therefore, in the early winter, the room was still as warm as late spring. It was okay to walk barefoot on the carpet. The so-called big room of a rich and powerful family was just like this. At this time, the young master, Su Fengnian, was sleeping soundly on the big bed. He was covered with a large quilt with autumn fragrance and looked haggard. Su Xiao and the young prince, Su Longxiang, were sitting beside the bed. Other than the only outsider, Heavenly Master Zhao of Longhu Mountain, who was standing beside him, and the old servant surnamed Huang, who was sitting at the door with a long luggage bag on his back, there was no one else. At the head of the bed, there was an ancient bronze Xuanda stove sprinkled with golden spots. There was a strange incense burning in it that could wake people up.